We're all set now for the moment as security continues to bolster in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Governors of the southeastern states and Igbo cultural group, Ohaneze Indibo, say they will meet with President Bola Tinubu to seek help in tackling insecurity bedeviling the region. At a meeting with lawmakers in the federal and state houses of assembly, the Igbo leaders agreed that finding solutions to the region's security challenge requires the federal government's support, which necessitated their resolve to reach out to President Bola Tinubu.
The problem of insecurity in Southeast cannot be solved by the Southeast governors alone. We accepted this and identified at the meeting. We have resolved that the leadership of our nation, the governors, must get in touch with the president. The problem in Southeast is too much, it's too big for either Ohaneze or the governors to solve. The president of Nigeria must accept it as a Nigerian problem and give support to the governors.
We have identified insecurity, that is the problem of Southeast for now, and is at the front burner, and they must be addressed. Over the years, we've been working with the governors of the region to ensure that this matter is resolved. The federal government in the past have supported, but we think that the federal government can do more. So among other resolutions, we resolved today to make a representation to the president for his intervention to be able to bring the insecurity in the region to an end.
Well, let's get a sense of how the security situation in the southeast is faring and what the elders and politicians in the region are doing to stop the menace in the southeast region. I'm joined in a moment by Professor Charles Wakeku, the secretary of the Igbo Elders Forum, who was at that meeting with southeastern leaders. But for now, with me in the studios is Sonny Chukwumele, who is the leader of the One Nigeria Forum. Good to see you and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
This must be some disturbing moment for you, specifically as it is for many Nigerians.
Yeah.
But again, it's been long in coming. And one of the key concerns people have been asking is, what are the elders and the people of the region doing to ensure that life is brought back to the southeast?
Well, I think that I must have to commend this crop of leadership, Igbo leadership, for the pragmatism they have shown, the pragmatism they are exuding, in seeking a political solution to that menace. Because I think that largely for now, that the leaders, the political leaders and elites are stepping forward. Respite will come very soon. Yeah. Particularly, I want to commend the governor of Imo State, for showing leadership, for showing courage, because himself has been impacted. If you can imagine a sitting governor, his country home was burnt down. You will now imagine how the the lesser mortals, how protected they have been feeling. In that region actually needs intervention, emergency intervention. That's my take for now.
When you say emergency intervention, because this is not the time for us to give praises or kudos to anyone, because this is a declaration of war on the part of the country, and many are asking why the silence from these same political leaders. Some citizens of the Southeast have said that some of these leaders now live in places like Lagos and Abuja, leaving them at the mercy of these daredevil killers.
Yeah, I think it's gotten to a suffocating limit. That's the reason that they have come out from what maybe I may describe as a comfort. So, though not actually comfort, this menace is becoming too worrisome. You can imagine where a young man sits in Finland and gives order for a 5-day sit-at-home. And I hear that they are beginning to up the game by maybe 2 weeks or 10 days or thereabouts, sit at home. What's going to happen to the economy of the place? I think some years back, even this situation affected students who were writing, is it NECO or exam or whatever. And then it is embarrassing. And I think that particular time, the children missed very key, is it English or mathematics? And you know there's no way you can get admission without either of both, you know. So that is to the extent. The economy is down. Traders cannot go to, trade on such days for a whole week. And then some non-state actors are enforcing illegality. They ask you, why did you come to school? They ask the banks, of course, naturally will close shop, you know, and businesses, hotels will close shop.
Let me, apologies, let me jump in here. People know about the problems, and the people are also willing not to adhere to these orders by some faceless people. But again, we saw what happened about a week ago. Who's protecting the people when they decide to disobey such sit-at-home that is detrimental to everyone in the region?
Comes back to government. That is what Section 14 of the Constitution. The principle, this of the government, the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. So government definitely has failed to a very large extent, you know, and of course you know that the security system is a command system, and we have a commander-in-chief. And so I think that I have to blame the immediate past president because he didn't show enough concern, because the military in the 82 division, for instance, that is the division covering the Southeast, must take instruction. And that instruction will come from the president to Minister of Defense, to Chief of Defense Staff, and then before. They cannot on their own move to shoot guns at people or to raid all those places. You know, so it comes back. The buck stops on Mr. President's...
Before we pass the buck, let's talk about the people. It would be uncharitable to think that the military never did anything, because we've seen the military make move, and the people of the region have also accused the military of some far-reaching tactics. So it puts...
a little complex, isn't it?
Does it? So that is why, again, it comes back to the people, and it also comes back to the political leaders in the region. On the one hand, you want the military to come in, and when they do, I mean, they're also casualties, the military. Soldiers have been killed, policemen have been killed. Yeah. So, truly, is it a case of not knowing who these people are?
Definitely, these people live within the communities. They are part of the society, of the village, you know. So they are part of us. They are known. And of course, you can, the Southeast particularly is not like the northern region where it will take security 30, 40 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours to get to a point, you know. Here, it's just, sometimes it's like 20 minutes, you know. So the political leaders and elites in the region also, I think they were a lot laid back, you know, before now. Like I said, the stuff has gotten to the you know, nostrils. So they're suffocating. And anything beyond this will be so bad, will be so bad. Imagine not too long, the convoy of Ifeanyi Ubah, almost everybody on his convoy, were killed. Indigenes of Southeast being killed and maimed. The country home of a governor razed down. Country home of the late Ohaneze, Ndibo President General, Professor Obiozo, razed down. I want to attribute his passage to that particular incident because a man whose whole library, an academic, you burn down his house, definitely he won't survive it. His books and everything, his treasure. Igbokwe's house, because he says, stop this nonsense, his house at home was razed down. So I think that it has gotten to this, what I describe as a suffocating limit. There's an extent to which nonsensities can be tolerated. It is now going to be solved. Of course, we saw recently, I think last week, that security started enforcing the enforcers to stop.
Because there must be some kind of acceptance by the people of security and other agencies.
That's where they are now. That's where they are now. You must, because everybody is crying in Southeast. Everybody. My mother is Igbo. I do everything I do mostly with Igbo people.
And you are, if your mother is Igbo, then
oh, yes, I am impacted. Yes, I have cousins, I have uncles in Igbo land. So it worries me, it bothers me. It bothers me. So everybody is crying. I make calls, back my maternal home. The people are in trouble. The pictures coming from Mbise as at last week. My mother's elder sister is married in Mbise, married to an Mbise family. So it impacts on me. So I'm bothered. And that is the reason I am appreciating these current moves. Even though you say it's too quick, but I think that this move now, that they want to see the commander-in-chief, and I do know that President Tinubu is a very pragmatic person.
No, I never said.
I
never said it was a quick. It was a quick move.
Okay.
I never described the move.
It's okay.
So quickly here. What else do you think the people can do? Because first, the people, it still comes back to the people.
Yeah.
What else? What more do you think the people can do to ensure that they are protected? You have the governors of the Southeast state, and until now, they were almost handicapped in protecting the people. A week ago, students were caught on amateur videos being molested by these same people. Is it a case of, first, just Simon Ekpa, you described a young man far away. Is it just an individual or some kind of collusion back home in the Southeast?
This stuff is what has been built, is a web that was constructed over time.
A web? A
web, yes. It's a web that has been, carefully crafted over time. And it's a criminal web, where I come from, Port Harcourt, you're in a cab, and the driver is telling you, oh, when we get Biafra, I won't be suffering like this. And I ask him, are you suffering? Is this car your own? He said, yes. Then it means you are self-employed. He said, when our leader tell us that we will be earning so much money, like wait. And, whitewashed. The psyche of these young people, preponderance of them are young people. And they have been brainwashed to believing in an El Dorado, that will come. And that El Dorado hasn't come up until now. And so what is the agitation? Releasing Nnamdi Kanu. That is why people have to sit at home for 1 week. Meanwhile, the matter is there subsisting in the court, it also comes back to why should Nnamdi Kanu remain, his matter remain forever? He is in detention. He's been brought back into Nigeria. You know, let the course of justice, while that one is going on, the political action by the leadership, by the leaders of Igbo land, by the leaders of Igbo nation, you know, so pari passu, they move and get to a point.
But when you speak of justice, isn't that what's going on at the moment?
Justice?
The case is in court.
The case is in court. But when last did Nnamdi Kanu appear in court? It is also worrisome to any sound mind. When last? Because assuming he's facing trial, case of treason, isn't it? He's facing case of treason, jumping of bail and all those, and then you keep him detained forever. It doesn't speak well of a nation that wants. So all these also help to fuel or exacerbate the issue. So if the multi-pronged approach, you know, geared towards solution, I can assure you that this matter would have been ended. And then also, diplomatically, Simon Ekpa must be brought home. Yes, I think Finland has a diplomatic relationship with Nigeria. The young people, young Igbo youths, should march to their embassy with a letter. This young man should not destroy our home. It impacts on me. It affects me. You know,
Sonny Chukwumele,
yes.
If he's brought back, it looks as if it's the same merry-go-round as the conversation around
he's a Nigerian, my brother.
With Nnamdi Kanu. As I say, once bitten, twice shy, it becomes almost difficult for any Southeasterner to stand, you know, as a surety or stick his neck out for Nnamdi Kanu or anyone who's there, knowing full well that someone paid the price.
My brother, he has to bear the brunt of what he's causing. He's causing bloodletting. Innocent people are dying. I wept when I saw images of a young lieutenant lady who just came back home to tell family, I have graduated from Nigerian. Lieutenant, a commissioned officer. They are stopping people from joining Nigerian army. They are part of Nigeria. There is no place in this constitution that says that has referendum or whatever. Section 2 of the constitution mentions indivisibility and indissolubility of the sovereign nation. There's a process for all those.
Well, Sonny Chukwumele, I'd like to thank you for your time, for coming on Arise Prime Time.